Hey, Steve Bechtel here, just to talk to you about some of the things that you can do to help make yourself better during this isolation time at your house. We talk a lot about habit change, and one of the things that we see people failing on is getting the things they want day after day after day. At the end of the day, what we want is for you to feel like you had a successful day and that you're proud of what you did that day. But in general, people tend to fall at some point into habits that they don't like. And those habits are the habits that pay off immediately, and generally bad habits will pay off right away, like drinking alcohol, smoking a cigarette, eating a big dessert, and you feel like, yeah, that was really great right now, but the next day you're like, darn it, I wish I hadn't done that. And so good habits tend to pay off in the long term. Another thing that we work on, instead of assigning meal plans and giving you macronutrient ratios and caloric restriction goals, is to build achievement-oriented goals for your nutrition and your daily habits. What I mean by an achievement-oriented goal is what they call an approach goal, meaning something you're trying to achieve and get to, rather than something you're trying to avoid, which is an avoidance goal. Like, I'm not going to eat sugar, or I'm going to avoid eating this, or I'm not going to do that. Avoidance goals require constant 100% attention all the time. Like, oh man, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, I can't eat that. But an approach goal is really great. You just have to get these things done. Very much like our April squat challenge 2020. Have to do 10 squats a day. Great. Boom. Some of our athletes are doing those at 9:30 at night, right before they go to bed, or even after they've gone to bed, they get up and they're like, oh crap, I forgot to do that. Always make the goal very, very achievable and very reasonable. And so if we look at like a 1% better every day framework, what about drinking 3 liters of water a day? That's kind of a lot of water. But it's not a lot of liquid, and usually drinking water will force out other liquids. Like if you drink coffee till noon, and then soda from noon to 5, and then beer from 5 until you pass out, you're getting a lot of calories in your liquids there. And so if you force some water in there, one of the things that's really crazy is you start to lose your caloric intake from beverages because you're drinking other stuff. Water is really, really cheap. It's so inexpensive, it almost feels like it's free. All right, and if you're having an economic crisis, the way most of us are, I'm in an empty building that's supposed to be making money for me, drinking more water is going to save you a little bit of money. It's also going to give you something that you're proud of at the end of the day. You're like, yes, I drank my 3 liters of water. 3 liters feels like a lot. Start with 2. Give yourself a 2-week chart. Did I drink my 2 liters of water a day? Did I drink 2 liters of water a day? That's all you have to do. Once you can nail 2 liters, go up to 3 liters. Don't really need to go much beyond that, okay? You can still have a little bit of coffee and a drink at night. Okay, once you got the water nailed, let's move to a different habit, and that is to eat 5 servings of vegetables a day. Now, 5 servings of vegetables feels like a lot, but that's sort of at this cusp where eating a high number of vegetables in a given day starts to decrease your chance of heart disease, starts to increase your immunity. The other thing is vegetables are very filling for the number of calories that they have because they're really fibrous. And so the more vegetables you can bring in, the quicker you're going to recover from exercise, the higher your immunity. Don't eat the crackers, eat some broccoli, right? Okay, 5 might seem like a lot, same thing. I can't do that. Right now my habit is eating 1 serving of vegetables a day. Okay, let's try to make it 2 for 2 weeks. Then we're going to make it 3 for 2 weeks. Then we're going to eat 5 for 2 weeks. See how that feels. But when you start to get to those levels and you start to feel the results of those, these habits become very, very easy. Okay. A palm-sized portion of protein at each meal. I don't want you to be doing all of these at once. Let's do this one, nail it, move on to this one, nail it. Then we'll come to the protein. Protein's a really good way to feel full. It's a good way to refuel yourself after exercise. And again, we're working on health, recovery, and immunity here, right? palm-sized portion, instead of going grams and calories and whatever else, just make sure that you have something that's the size of your palm, and that needs to come at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What are your proteins? Look them up. Meat. Beans can be a decent source. You can have fake proteins like tofu. You can have the fake meat. It doesn't really matter. But what you should do is make sure that you're getting that amount of protein in. All right. Once you've got your vegetables and protein nailed, a really interesting thing starts to happen. You start to be leaner, start to have more energy. You start to recover more quickly between workouts. This starts to really matter. It's like, yeah, okay, great. You're going to be able to run a marathon. Or you're going to be able to deadlift this or bench press that. But if we're trying to work on immunity and health right now, this is a really critical thing to do with your nutrition. All right. Sleep 3 hours before midnight. Why would that be a good habit? As long as I'm getting my 7 hours in, my 8 hours in, that should be plenty, right? Well, there's some pretty good data that shows that sleeping earlier in the night or sleeping while it's dark gives you better recovery. The other thing is, most people don't do a heck of a lot of productive stuff after 9 p.m. We'll stay up late watching a movie, or stay up late drinking wine or surfing Instagram. But if you can get yourself to sleep at 9, that's going to kick you up, 6 in the morning, get you ready to go the next day. You can get up and do something productive with your day. If you're staying up till midnight and sleeping until 9 a.m., you're probably not being as productive or as effective with your time as you could be. The other thing is to exercise daily. Do your 10 squats. You can train, you can do specific exercises, you can pursue different things, but you got to do it every single day. I am training every day. Every single day, not a day off. If you need a day off, just do your 10 squats, do some mobility for 30 minutes. But you're a machine, and you need to keep the machine maintained, and we need to do it every single day. I don't want to hear your excuse. Okay. Start working on your habits. Improve those habits. You can chart it out. There are really great training logs for this. There's great notebooks. There's good methods. A really great resource is a phone app called Habit Bull, like bull with horns, and you can track habits and chain those habits up. And this is exactly what we're looking for: is to enchain multiple habits in a row, day after day after day. If you find you're not making it on a habit, back off a little bit. If you're just kicking the crap out of it, up that thing a little bit and see what you can do. I, again, suggest one at a time. Make it easy. Make it something you can achieve. Because face it, most of the things that you've set goals for, you'd failed at, right? We're like, oh yeah, I'm going to bench press 300, or I'm going to make this amount of money. Most people have a really good capacity of dreaming and goal setting, but they don't have a good capacity for building habits. And the gap between your habits and your goals is where you have to live.